And we're starting again. Okay, so we're back to the Java 2 show. Dun, 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 dun. So this is virtual method invocation, right? So this is, so I'm going to write up the name here.
You recording?
Yep, Iggy. Good man. Good man.
I'm back.
You're back, Iggy. You're back. Right, so. So, sorry, just go back here again. This thing is going all weird on me. Okay, so virtual. So this is section 1.3, virtual method invocation. Okay. So new Java project. And it's going to be virtual method invocation. Now, it's a big word, but it's fairly simple what it is. Now, we're only going to have two classes in this. We're only going to have the animal and main, and inside the main class we're going to have our main method. Okay, so create our package, which is going to be com.android, and inside com.android we're going to have an animal class, and we're going to have main, public static void main. Now, just give me a minute. I'll do this here. Now, main. Now, so first of all, I'll put up a definition in main as to what virtual method invocation is. Okay, so this is virtual method invocation. The virtual method is a method that you expect to be redefined in a derived class. In other words, it's a method that's going to be overridden. That's what a virtual method is. Okay? A virtual method is a method that's going to be overridden. Now, it's usually an abstract class or an abstract method, but it doesn't have to be. Okay? So a virtual method is a method that you expect to be redefined in a derived class. That's all a virtual method is. Okay? A virtual method is a method that's going to be overridden. Yeah? So if you hear virtual methods, what is it? It's a method that's going to be overridden. Okay? So we are going to go to the animal class and we're going to create a couple of methods. Okay? So we're going to go to the animal class. So I'll save main. And in the animal class, we are going to make the animal class abstract. Okay? And in the animal class, we are going to create a public abstract void feed. Now, so when it's abstract, what does that mean? When the method is abstract, what does that mean? Yeah, it's not going to be instantiated, but it's also going to be overridden. Okay, so this method, so any class that extends the animal class has to override this feed method. Now, so we are going to create a couple of classes here. They're all going to extend animal. And we're going to see virtual method invocation in operation. Now, it's nothing new. It's just a way of doing something. Okay? So it's nothing new. Anyone who doesn't know overriding at this stage, I'm afraid, I don't know, should you be here now? Okay? So, we're going to create class cow. Extends animal. Okay? So, when class cow extends animal, that means we have to have a feed method inside it. Okay? Now, inside the cow class, we are going to have a private method, and it's going to be add hay. Okay? And now we're just going to say, just have a print statement. It's private void as well, by the way. Add hay. And now we're just going to have a print statement that's going to say adding hay for the cow to eat. Now, the reason we're doing virtual method invocation as well is because something like this is used in something called the builder pattern and the factory pattern. Okay? So you need to know this before you start doing the builder pattern and the factory pattern. Okay? Private void add hay. So in the feed method, I'm just going to put a simple print statement that says cow is about to feed, and then inside the feed method I call the add hay method. Okay. Everyone with me okay? Everyone with me now? Yes? Yep? Okay. So that's the cow class done. The next one, we're going to do a bird class. Extends animal. Trying to check this video a second. Just give me a second. All right. So we're starting. Public class cat. Public class. Okay. Protected members of the big cat. Yeah, that video is fine. Okay. Close. Just close this thing. Don't save. Cancel. Okay. Right, just close this as well. Don't save. Right. So class bird extends animal. So again, we're going to override the feed method. So we have public void feed. So what does a bird eat? A bird eats bird seed. So we're going to have private void add seed. And then we're going to say, so I'm going to say adding bird seed for a bird to eat. So inside the feed method in the bird class, I'm going to say bird is about to eat, and I have a add seed method. Okay, so that's the bird class done. Next one we're going to do is the fish class. Class fish extends animal. So again, we go here, add implemented method. So we have a method here called private void add fish food. And in the feed method in the fish class, we're going to say private void add fish food. I'm going to say okay. Now that's our classes done. Everyone with me so far, yes? So we've got a fish. It extends animal. It's got a feed method. It calls a private method. Sorry, I should have this here. Add fish food. Okay. In the bird class, we've got a feed method, and that calls the add seed method. In the cow class, we have a feed method, and that calls the add hay method. Okay. Everyone with me so far? Yeah, nothing too extensive there. Now, inside the animal class, I'm going to create a concrete method. All right, public static void feed animal, animal my animal. Now, inside here, so what I'm going to do is my animal dot feed. Now, this is an example of why this is virtual method invocation. It's basically calling any one of the overridden methods. All right. If I send a cow to this method, okay, what's it going to do? It's automatically going to call this method. If I send a bird to this method, it's going to call the bird feed method. If I send a fish to it, it's going to call the fish feed method. Okay, this is virtual method invocation. It's so different methods are called for different objects. That's what a virtual method invocation is. Okay, so it's a big term, but that's all it is. It's just calling overridden methods. So this can be, I'll just get my pen up here. So this can be a cow calling it, this can be a fish calling it, this can be a bird calling it, and there are three different methods. Okay, so that is what virtual method invocation is. It's not that difficult. Now, these sort of techniques are used when we come to using the factory pattern and the builder pattern. Okay, we're going to be using something similar to this. All right, so that's why we need to cover it. So I'm going to put in a couple of comments. Now, so this is the first comment I'm going to put in. This will always call a subclass of animal. Okay. How do we know this will always call a subclass of animal? That will always either call a cow feed method, a bird feed method, or a fish feed method. How do I know that?
Because of inheritance.
Because of inheritance, but also because this is an abstract method. There isn't any such thing as an animal that can call the feed method, because you can't create an animal because it's an abstract class. So this will always be a subclass of animal that's calling it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Is that only because it's because it exists within that class? Because if you take away the abstract feed, then it doesn't look like feed.
Oh, that's right. So the reason, so public abstract void feed, that means you have to override it. Okay, that means any of the subclasses have to have a feed method.
Yes.
Okay. Now you created the feed method in the animal class. Okay, that means an animal reference to a bird object will have access to the feed.
Yeah, but it can only see feed because of the abstract.
No, it can see feed because it doesn't matter if it's abstract or not.
Right, but I'm saying, would it not give out? If it wasn't abstract and you had another feed method, a concrete feed
Well, wait, so if I didn't have it abstract, just say if I have an ordinary feed method, yeah?
Yeah.
Inside animal. Yes?
Oh, I was going to say inside one of the children, but no, inside animals.
Well, let's say if I have it inside animal,
Yeah.
and let's say I just have void feed, and I put in animal feeding. That will work, but the big difference is you don't have to put a feed method in the subclasses. If it's abstract, you have to put a feed method in the subclasses. Okay? So, yes, you can do that, but it doesn't force you to have a feed method in all the subclasses. Whereas if it's an abstract class, you have to have a feed method in each one of their subclasses. Okay? So, any class that extends this animal has to override the feed method. Okay? Where am I now? Okay, sorry here. Okay, here, sorry. This will always call a subclass of animal. Just give me a minute now to make sure I have it all here. So this will always call a subclass of animal. This will always be a subclass of animal, as only subclasses of the animal class have a concrete feed method, and the animal class is abstract. Okay, so this will always either be a cow, a fish, or a bird, isn't it? A cow, a bird, or a fish. Okay, so it will always be okay. Now, so you will always be using a overridden feed method. Now, if you're always using an overridden feed method, this is virtual method invocation. So if you're always going to be using a overridden method, that's what virtual method invocation is. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's always using an overridden method. That's what virtual method invocation is. It's an overridden method. All right? If you're using an overridden method, well then that's virtual method invocation. Again, it's fairly simple. The first couple of sections in this, there's nothing really concrete in them. Okay, they're easy enough. All right. So I'm going to go back to main. So I'm going to go here to main. Now, if I go to see the animal class, in the animal class we have a feed method. Okay, the feed animal. The feed animal can take any type of animal. It can't take an animal itself because animal is an abstract class. We understand that, yes? Okay, so we can only take one of three types. You can only take a cow, a bird, or a fish. Can't take anything else. Okay, if you try to send it anything else, it will not compile. Try to send it an animal, it will not compile. Okay, now it's a static method, which means we don't need to create an object of the animal class. We can't create an object of the animal class anyway. Do you see that? See that? You can't create an object of the animal class because it's abstract. However, you can call a static method directly. All right? So how do you call a static method directly? You just go animal dot feed animal. Okay? Doesn't matter that the class is static. All right? Doesn't matter that the class is static. So animal dot feed animal, I'm going to send it a cow. What's the next animal going to send it? I'm going to send it a fish. What's the next one I'm going to send it? I'm going to send it a bird. All right, so I'm going to call these three methods. So I'm going to save it. Save it. I'm going to run it. So, cow is about to feed, adding hay for the cow to eat. Fish is about to eat, adding fish for the fish to eat. Bird is about to eat, adding bird seed for the bird to eat. Okay, that's virtual method invocation. There's nothing difficult about it at all. Okay, it's just the term puts people off. All it is quite simply you're always using overridden methods. That's it. Any questions on that? Okay, this is as well is a very, very simple section. Okay, now as well as using the animal class to call the feed animal method, each one of the derived classes can also use a static method. So you can do something like this: bird.feed animal new cow. It's the same method. Do we understand that? Because it inherits the static methods. As well as inheriting the ordinary methods, it also inherits the static methods. So you can call the static methods by the name of the derived class. Show you it here. Feed animal is in the animal class. Class bird extends animal. So that means that bird has access to the feed animal method. So bird.feed animal new cow will call this method. A cow was sent to it, which will call this feed method. Okay? So you can see the way it seems to be bouncing all over the place. Alright, so I'll run through that one again. Here we have the bird class. The bird class is calling the static feed animal method. What do we send to it? We send a cow to it. The cow calls the feed method for the cow. And what's the feed method for the cow? It's going to be this one down here. Okay? Because feed animal calls my animal.feed. It can only be one of three feed methods. If it's a cow, it's going to call this one. If it's a bird, it's going to be this one. If it's a fish, it's going to be this one. And so they act in three totally different ways. Okay? In our case, it's just a print statement, but that's the principle of it. Any questions on that? Okay? Now, I do understand the first couple of chapters, there's nothing really concrete or nothing really new in it. But it's just kind of getting you used to thinking these sorts of techniques are going to be used in patterns, factory patterns. What's the other one? What is the other one? I can't think of the name of it. Builder pattern. Thank you, Kieran. That's it. Factory pattern and building patterns. All right. It's if a method is called, that depends on what the object is. Okay. That can be a cow, a bird, or a fish. Okay. It can be one of those three things. I'm going to put a comment into main. Okay. So here. So just in case, no harm to put this in case we forgot it. So you can call a static method of a abstract class by using the name of the class, the abstract class, Okay, so animal.feed animal. Now this works because as a static method is not tied to any individual object, but instead is tied to the class. So this method takes a subclass of animal, can't take an animal, as animal is a abstract class, which in turn calls the write feed method for a cow, a fish, or a bird, which in turn also calls a private method in each one of the cow or fish or bird class. Okay, you can also call a static method by using the name of the subclasses. Now, is that okay with everyone? There's nothing, as I say, there's nothing really new. We did use instance of, if you remember, in Java 1 as well. We didn't go into as much detail, but there's nothing new in the first 4 sections really. It's all just going over stuff that becomes more and more important as you go on to Java 2. Is it okay to move on? Okay. Right, so I will save that guy. I will save it. And that is section 1.3, so